Now it's time for Talkin Racing in the Finger Lakes. An action-packed half-hour look at local race highlights, cars, and drivers in your area. Buckle your seatbelts, rev your engines, and be there.
The unthinkable happened this Friday night when a judge handed down an order that effectively ends stock car racing at Paradise Speedway. The Speedway, known for its fun, relaxed atmosphere, was a favorite of drivers who claimed that the track surface was the best in the area. Because the close-down order was not delivered until after 5 p.m., many drivers and fans showed up anyway. Track owner Gary Pallone made this statement to the crowd.
I'm Gary Pallone from Paradise Speedway and my wife Eileen. We've run Paradise Speedway for the last 20 years. We've put a good portion of our life. We put 100% of our life savings into this business. And these few people were able to come in and successfully convince the judge to shut us down. I think wrongfully so, but you know, that's the way the judge decided, so that's what we have to accept on that part. We've got a lot of different things that we can do. There's a lot of different options. As to what we're going to do right at the moment, I don't know. Of course, motorcycle racing died several years ago. There's almost nobody left there, and there's only a handful of go-karts, so it doesn't make anything even feasible to operate. So effectively what they've done is close the speedway down. The ones I really feel the worst for are the fans, the racers, the people that come here every week. This is their life. You know, this is all of their entertainment. We've provided this for these people for 20 years. We've built it from practically nothing, and we thought we had something that was a viable business. Unfortunately, the judge doesn't think so. The thing that we have is, one of the options we have is to try to get rezoned industrial. We've got a town board meeting that is set up for the 7th of August, 7 p.m. at the Phelps Town Hall. We'd like to invite anybody that is in support of us to come down and offer your support that night at 7 p.m. We need you there, and you know, there's nothing I like better than to fill the place and let the people know how many fans there really are here. The biggest thing I'd like to ask everybody is to keep a cool head. You know, it's like they slit my throat, but I have to smile at them and be nice. You know, and it's like I have to ask everybody else to do the same thing. We've had a lot of people suggest violence, and I can understand why. In fact, I can understand why a lot of murders are held, because when you get hit with something like this, it's fully understandable why people go berserk and do things like that. And we've got a lot of people that want to go out and physically hurt people. I don't want that to happen. All I want to do is get my racetrack back. We're a business that's been legal here in the town of Phelps. We've always gone to the town. We've always done everything according to the town board, even though the judge says the town didn't have authorization to let us do what we did. We always did what the town told us to do, always. We intend to be here. How we're going to be back, I'm not sure, but we will be back. We will be racing stock cars, and as soon as I can say that what the date is, I'll be back to tell you. Thank you.
After Gary's statement, I spoke to a couple of the drivers about their reaction to the decision.
I'm always disappointed they closed this track. This is the only track I can run at this age. I'm 14. I got 2 years to wait before I could run at Canandaigua or Weed Sport in the Thorough class. So I got a while to wait, and I just got to watch the old man wreck my car for 2 years and see what's left when that's done.
Well, I think it kind of sucks, really. I mean, no reason for it. You abided by all the rules and everything, and you got a handful of people that just, I don't know what the hell the problem is with people with it. I don't know. Try to abide by the rules and everything and have some fun. And you got some, we'll say morons that kind of take it away. all I got to say, I guess.
Race fans, take note. This is a wake-up call. Often we hear of efforts to close tracks, but don't think that it will happen to our track. Well, it has happened right here in central New York. If you think your track is safe, think again. Already, residents that live near tracks are attempting to do just what has happened at Paradise. And now this decision against Paradise will give those residents groups near other tracks the ammunition they need. The time is now to stick up for our sport. Even if you have never been to Paradise, this is the time to get involved. There will be a special Phelps Town Board meeting on Monday, August 7th at 7 p.m. at the Phelps Fire Hall. Attend and support the Speedway, or before long there will be no Speedways.
Apple Valley Raceway and owner Jeff Tome have also had their share of legal problems with local residents. But you couldn't tell that this past Friday night. The stands were jam-packed. Street stock action. Richie Ficarra and Elva English pace 14 cars down for the green flag. Richie Ficarra in the number 1, the rookie, takes the early lead going into 1 and 2. Pete Crutchin in the 29 and Elva English in the number 4 battle for the second position. On the following lap, we see the battle for second place as Pete Crutchin in the 29. Rob White gets around him, and Todd Stanton will follow him up for the third position. Lap 6, we see a battle for the top 5 positions. Ficarra, White, Stanton, Salem, and Montgomery. Rob White in the number 22 will take the early lead with Tony Salem right behind him. Lap 7, though, we see a battle on 3 and 4 for the third, fourth, and fifth position. Mike Montgomery claims third, and Todd Stanton will follow him up for fourth. Here we see a battle for the first 3 positions. Rob White in the 22, Tony Salem in the 98, and Mike Montgomery in the 04. Mike Montgomery in the 04, we see him get down low underneath Tony Salem Jr., and he will grab the second position going into 1 and 2 and down the backstretch. Todd Stanton's right there waiting for a mistake on Salem's part as well. Rob White in the Buick Regal, number 22, will end up taking the win. He'll be the first street stock feature winner to have 3 wins in the season. Rob White's your winner. Mike Montgomery in second, Tony Salem Jr. in third, Todd Stanton in fourth, and Richie Ficarra in fifth. 25 laps for the Super Stocks were next on tap for all NASCAR Winston racing fans. Amy Catalano and Tim Farley pace the field, and we see Tim Farley looking for his first win of the 95 season, get around Amy Catalano to take the early lead. On lap 2, we have a crash in 1 and 2 involving points leader Joey Brainerd. Joey would have all kinds of problems all evening long. Tom Stevenson was also involved in this little altercation. Lap 4, battle for 1, 2, 3, and 4. Steve Ross in the 98 will get a little squirrely going into turn 3, and watch this as he loses it. Steve will spin, but he will continue the event. Lap 5 on the restart. Amy Catalano, number 44, the old Jules number 44, goes to the outside of Tim Farley to grab the advantage. Amy looking for a feature win here at Apple Valley Raceway, and she looked to have one of the strongest cars on this evening down there. Howie Ellenwood in the number 91. He's won the past 2 weeks. You see him get down low here, and he's going to grab the advantage from Amy Catalano, and he was well on his way to his 3rd straight feature win at Apple Valley Raceway in the Super Stock division. Dave Wiesman, who had made an early race pit stop, goes to the outside of Tim Farley to claim the 3rd position. He had climbed back up through the pack, and his car was also strong this evening. But Howie Ellenwood, and the number 91, the Rochester Metal Extra Automotive Deckman Oil number 91, takes home the victory, making it his 3rd consecutive win over Amy Catalano, Dave Wiesner, Andy Loden, and Tim Farley in 5th. Apple Valley's open wheel class, the Grand American Modifieds hit the pavement next. Mike Giddings in the 39 and Rick Woods in the 45 lead the field off, with Mike Giddings in the 39 taking the advantage. One-time feature winner, Brian Elliott in the 41, goes underneath Mike Giddings to grab the early lead. Lap 3, battle for the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th position. Mike Giddings, Jeff Hammond, John DeMay, and look at John Burrows on the extreme outside, and he's going to grab a couple of positions right here. Lap 5, John Burroughs grabs second place, going on the high side of Mike Giddings, and he's definitely on his way to the front of the pack. He's chasing down Brian Elliott, who's been leading the whole distance up to this point. And catch him he does, as on lap 10, John Burroughs goes underneath Brian Elliott. He goes up outside the lap car, and he will take the lead. Bill Gleason off of turn 4 loses it and hits the front stretch wall. Bill, former street stock runner down at Paradise Speedway, moved to the Grand American Modified Division. Bill was okay this evening, but his car was in bad shape. John DeMink, one of the top runners down there, moves to the 3rd position after a little contact with Mike Giddings. Mike loses the position, but John DeMink grabs the position. Later on in the event, John DeMink, because of that little tap, ends up dropping from the event. Tough break for John DeMink as he was on the move. John Burroughs in the number 4, the Salty Dog, Swain Tech Pizza Hut sponsored number car, picks up the victory at Apple Valley Raceway. John's your winner with Brian Elliott 2nd, Jeff Hammond 3rd, Bill Woods in 4th, and Brooke Woods finished 5th. Apple Valley's premier class, the late model division, rolled down the track next for their feature go. Dan the Man Kuhlman and Racing Dan Mason have been the early leaders all season long in the points battle, but tonight, Tom Richards in the Bud Hunter shot number 8 grabs the early lead. But it didn't take long for Danny Kuhlman to crack the top 5, and here we see him going underneath the number 5 of Tom Keys for the 4th position. Dan was definitely quick this night, and he was on his way towards the front of the pack. He gets around Mike McDermott for the 3rd position, going around to turn 4 here, and he's closing in and will grab the 2nd position from Slattering the number 19. You see him right behind Tom Richards in the Bud Hunter shot number 8. And very soon, Dan Kuhlman will be challenging for the lead. On lap 14, we'll see this footage coming here pretty quick. Dan Kuhlman going underneath the number 8 of Tom Richards, and he will be your new leader as they go into turn 1 and turn 2. Tom Richards showing a little smoke there, but he would finish the event. Slattery with a great run. Dan Mason goes to the high side to get by him for that 3rd position and make a little contact, and Slat's great run is done. On the restart, Racing Dan Mason is going to go for the 2nd position here. And look at Dave Siles, defending track champion, come right behind him as a freight train underneath the number 8 of Tommy Richards. This is for the 2nd and 3rd position as Dan Kuhlman is well out in front of these 2 racers. Dave Siles decides he's going to try for that 2nd position going into 3 and 4. And look what happens. Dave Siles spins. He'll continue at the back of the pack, but he's not going to be a factor the rest of the way. Dan the Man Kuhlman in number 50. And the Farmington Service Hawk Auto Sales number 50 late model picks up the win over Dan Mason, Tom Richards, Tom Keys, and Mike McDermott in the 5th position. Saturday night, we're off to the land of legends, Canandaigua Speedway, for their regular show. Here we see the street stock action start off. 15 laps for the street stocks, with Chris Ferguson and Ray Schaefer pacing the field. Chris Ferguson in the 26A takes the advantage. Front stretch, lap 1, we see a tangle down there involving several of the top runners. They're all able to continue. Lap 5, Larry Reynolds in 32J will grab the advantage from Chris Ferguson, and he'll look to be on the way for his first feature win of the 95 season. Several top runners involved back there looking for position. In fact, Scott Fremont is one of them, and he will claim the 2nd position from Chris Ferguson on lap 7. We see Tanya Hansen, we see Steve Pizarnik lurking right behind, and believe me, they'll be a factor before the time the race is over. Car on its roof over on the backstretch. Who could that be? That's Rick Miller, who had flipped several weeks ago. First night back at Canandaigua this week, and he's on his roof again. Tough break for Rick. Lap 14, we see the battle for 2nd position with Larry Reynolds right up there in front. Steve Pizarnik in the number 30, and Scott Fremont in the Mike Barnes-sponsored number 3. Steve Pizarnik will grab the 2nd position. Then he gets down underneath Larry Reynolds in the 32J. Steve, a many-time feature winner down here at Canandaigua Speedway, is trying to pick up another feature win. And watch this battle behind them for the 2nd position Les White will claim the second position. Watch as they come across the line. Tanya Hansen, Scott Fremont make contact. Larry Reynolds on the high side. Tough break for all those folks. Steve Pizarnik with the win. Les White in second. Larry Reynolds third. Scott Fremont ends up fourth. And Tanya Hans finishes fifth. Jerry Harris, Jer Bear as they call him, and Rob Mack pace the field of sportsmen modifieds as they come to the line for their feature go. Jerry Harris in the 94, the rookie, takes the early advantage. Tangle here involving several of your feature winners. There will not be a factor as Vic Coffey and Howie Albrecht had a few problems. Let's play Spin the Sportsman Modified here as Scott McKernan gets around and he continues on his way. And a little later on, Mike Button says, well, if you can do it, Scott, I can do it better. And he gets around as well. He will continue also. Probably the quickest car on the track this evening was Jim Flint in the Too Cool car, as we see him getting underneath the 38K of Kevin Long for the fourth position, and also Carl Comfort follows right behind. And then he gets by Scott McKernan in the 77 for the third position, and he looks like he may be a factor before this race is done, as he has moved from deep in the pack, and he's well on his way towards the front. But Jerry Harris and the Jeff Jolly Masonry Phelps Cement Products number 94 would pick up his first career sportsman win. Todd Burley finished in for second, Jim Flint in third, Scott McKernan fourth, and Carl Comfort rounded out the top five. The Sergeant, Steve Schultz in the 16, and the Seabreeze Bandit, Steve Glover in the 121, make up an all-Steve front row for the start of the 35-lap big block modified feature at the Land of Legends. Steve Glover in the 121 goes to the high side of the Sergeant Steve Schultz, and it looks like Steve Glover is going to be your early leader. Right off the bat, lap one, we see a tangle involving A.J. Slideways, Alan Johnson, Ray Bliss. Joe Plazak ends up flipping down the backstretch, and his night is done. Tough break for Joe because he's currently running third in the points. Barefoot Bob McCready from the back of the pack. He's had a rough night all night. Gets in by virtue of guaranteed starter status. You see him battling with A.J. Slideways, Alan Johnson, Charlie Donk in the 99, and Timmy Fuller. Barefoot Bob would work high, and he would work low to head towards the front of the pack. His car was hooked for the feature go, and it looked like he was going to be a factor at the end of this race. Danny Johnson, driving the 27J, currently running second here, will get a little nudge from Barefoot Bob McCready, and Bob will go to the high line. Steve Glover running right up in front. He's your leader, but Barefoot Bob's going to take the second position away from Danny Johnson. And then on lap 21, Steve Glover, having a great run, is going to get a little high. Barefoot Bob in the number 9, Kinney Drugstore sponsored number 9, is going to take the lead away from Glover. Meanwhile, Cannondale's all-time feature win leader, Alan Johnson in the 14J, is going to be moving up through the pack as he gets down underneath Ted Bauer for the fourth position on his way towards the front of the pack, coming down the front stretch. And then we see him go to the high side of his brother, Dr. J, Danny Johnson. He starts closing in on Glover for the second position. But Barefoot Bob McCready in the Kinney Drugstore's number 9 was too strong on this evening. No one was going to catch him as he comes down to the checkers. Barefoot Bob McCready, your feature winner. Steve Glover with a great run in second. Alan Johnson third, Danny Johnson in fourth, and John Moravik in fifth. John Demink, seasoned veteran at Apple Valley Raceway. He's been piloting a car over here for many, many years, one form or another. This year, he's got a 1995 Nichols chassis for the Grand American Modified class. Right now, you're standing 8th in points. You've had a couple of second-place finishes. I've been down here and seen those, and you've got a really, really strong car. What's it going to take to pull down that first feature victory?
Well, like the guy always said, I'd rather be lucky than good, I guess. But you have to be good also, and we've had some problems with the car. Just haven't got it hooked as well as we'd like, and you got to run on the outside to, get up there to the front if you start fairly back. And but we're working on it every week, and we're making improvements.
Now, as I was saying, you've run one form of car or another for many, many years. How long have you been in the sport of racing?
Well, my wife and some other people tell me too long, but I still enjoy it, and we've been probably around 27, 28, 30 years in that neck of the woods. I know we went past the 25 years, so, but I still enjoy it, and my son helps me out quite a bit now, so I'm still going to keep on doing it.
Speaking of your son, Now, you took a couple of years off not too long ago here, and I was kind of surprised, and I think a lot of people were surprised to see you get back behind the wheel of a car. Your son is the major force behind you getting back behind the wheel, right?
This is true. You know, when he was younger, he couldn't do, you know, that much. I didn't let him do that much. Maybe it was Dad that didn't let him do that much, and he was interested, but always scared, a little more protective than I should have been probably. But now that he's older, and then I sold the car, and then he got itchy and he wanted to get another car, so I'm using that maybe for an excuse. But I still enjoy it, but it's mainly because my boy's with me, and it's a father-son deal, and I'm really happy with that.
A few weeks ago, they did away with the claimer rule here at Apple Valley Raceway. Do you think that's going to hurt the class, or is that going to help the class out? It must have its pros and cons, right?
Yeah, pros and cons with everything, Jimmy. I said last year that I agree with a claimer rule, but the claimer rule was too low on price. They should have doubled it, what it was. And that way they're, you know, you're not going to put a lot of money in them. But everybody that runs good has got more money than what the, you know, more money in their engine than what the claimer rule is. But before it was too low, I thought, and maybe that's why people were exercising that rule.
Let's talk a little bit about your sponsors and crew. You've got a great package of sponsorship here, and we want to get them in, and then we'll talk about your crew a little bit.
Like you said, I do have I'm real fortunate to have sponsors that I do have. Chuck DeRitter from DeRitter's Garage has been with me a number of years. A real good sponsor, and plus also works on the car 4 nights a week with us. Marion Insurance Agency, Rick Bush from my hometown there in Marion, has been with me a number of years, a good sponsor. Tracy's Hair and Tanning Salon in Marion has been with us a couple of years. Her father works on the car with us. And Tracy and her mother, in fact, they clean the car every Thursday night for us and do a tremendous job there, and that's real helpful to us. Reb Racing, which is a fella around Honey Eye Falls, Lima area, come aboard this year, and that was a contact through a fellow that works with me, Eddie Hopkins, and talking to him, and he said, I've got a fellow that maybe will help sponsor you, and so we went and talked, and we got together, and that's where the Reb Racing, that's his initials, R-E-B, Richard Burke. Advantage Auto Stores in Williamson, New York has helped us for a number of years, and real appreciative of that also. And that's pretty much it. Plus the family is behind me still, mainly the wife and the boy, like I said. So, that's pretty much it.
Let's go back to the Reb Racing. I noticed your crew, they're probably the best appearing crew down here at Apple Valley Raceway. That will lead us right into the subject of the crew. Let's talk a little bit about the crew and who you've got aboard, because you've got a great bunch of guys and girls here.
Right. Like I said, Chuck DeRitter from DeRitter's Garage, he's more or less on the engine. I have Tommy English out of Sodish, New York, works at Xerox. He's fabrication. And this fellow here works straight nights, and he takes every Friday off as vacation to come down here and help me. Plus, he fabricates parts during the week for us. Ronnie Bleak, Tracy's dad, works with us. He also works at Xerox during the week. Rick Bush's son from Marion Insurance Agency, Jeff, he helps us. My son and his girlfriend Shannon Hall, they work on the car as much as needed. We have Charlie Weiss, picked up this year. He was on the Empire Sprinter circuit last year, and I work with Charlie up to work, so he's helped us. I guess that's pretty much, we have a fellow up to work also that does the motors, Frankie. He helps out as much as possible, and that's pretty much it, I guess, Jimmy.
Yeah, you're a top-running car. We want to wish you much success this season. Hopefully you go out there and pick up that first feature win. Now, did you have a win last year?
No, Jimmy. The best we had was a second. I think we had 2 seconds last year, and we've had 3 seconds this year. So we're knocking on the door, but we're not there yet. But I'm a firm believer, and if it's meant to be, it'll be. And we keep working hard at it. And the crew is tremendous. I can't give them enough credit. They haven't hung their heads and been discouraged or nothing. We lost a couple of transmissions, different things. We couldn't get it to run right one night, but they're right there fighting. They don't hold their heads down, and tremendous effort. Can't speak enough for them.
Okay, we're looking forward to see you pick up that first feature win, and I know it's coming here very soon because I've been watching you for many years, and I think it's just on its way. So good luck to them.
Since this show was produced, a special stay in the order against Paradise Speedway has been handed down by Associate Appellate Judge John F. Lawton. Regular racing shows will be held as scheduled each Friday and Saturday night at Paradise Speedway. For more details on this developing story, tune into Talkin Racing on 99.3 FM WSFW Thursday night at 7 p.m.